billion for agriculture value chain development projects. There is 1.5 billion for sugar sector reform. There is new injection of 8 billion for support for fertilizer subsidy. There is 4 billion for coffee debt waiver, Your Excellency. And also the health sector is amongst the biggest gainers this time. 17.3 billion, Your Excellency, is going to Global Fund for HIV, malaria, and TB. There is 13.1 billion, Your Excellency, which goes to primary health care, and 8 billion for emergency, chronic, and critical illness fund. UHC healthcare workers are going to get 6.2 billion for transfer of their functions, their payrolls to counties, Your Excellency. To fully support and authorize the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury to make drawings from the Consolidated Fund, we request you, Your Excellency, to also sign today the Treasury warrants to authorize the drawings with respect to the supplementary appropriation and also the main appropriations for 2025-2026. The main appropriation, Your Excellency, also grants some 4 billion to cater for internship programs for doctors, and there is 1.3 billion for the construction and equipping of cancer centers across specified counties. The education sector, Your Excellency, also gets a good share of 658.4 billion, 387 of which is going to teacher resource management, including their remuneration, promotion, and recruitment of intern teachers. 58.9 billion, Your Excellency, goes to free primary and day secondary education, while 29 billion is for junior secondary school funding. The university funding, Your Excellency, gets 41.5 billion in the next financial year, while the national examinations and assessment and the school feeding program get 6 billion and 3 billion each. Your Excellency, the digital superhighway and creative economic sector have not been left behind. They have been allocated 13 billion to support the growth of the innovation and creative sectors. 217 billion, Your Excellency, has been allocated for construction, maintenance, and rehabilitation of roads in the financial year 2025-2026, while 63 billion has been allocated to support reliable power supply by our energy sector players. Following your signing, your assent of the bills, Your Excellency, and your signing of the Treasury warrants, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury will, after the bills have force of law following their publication, be able to facilitate the drawing of this money from the Consolidated Fund. Excellency, in the next financial year, our TVETs have also been given 7.7 billion for scholarships and capitation. Your Excellency, the last bill for the day is a Finance Bill 2025, which was introduced in the House following his submission in draft form by the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury on 31st of April, as required by the PFM Act. It is introduced in the name of the distinguished member for Molo constituency, Your Excellency. The bill, upon being published, went through extensive public participation throughout the country. We also used modern technology this time, using apps to allow the young people this time to participate, to give their views in, with respect to this bill. In this regard, Your Excellency, the bill was considered taking into account the views of the public and passed by the National Assembly last week on 19th. The bill is proposing amendments to various laws relating to taxes, including the Income Tax, the Excise Duty Act, the Value Added Tax, the Tax Procedures Act, Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, and the Stamp Duty Act. There is seldom any new taxation measures being introduced, Your Excellency, other than some few areas which largely came from the National Treasury or others that came through the public participation process. One of the key winners is the general public when it comes to the incentives to promote telecommunication sector, because after public participation, the telecommunication industry asked the committee to ensure that investment allowance deduction for purchase of spectrum license or a right of fiber optic issued by a telco operator is one of the exemptions granted, and this is hoped that's going to be an incentive, and it is going to improve the telecommunication industry, Your Excellency. Allow me, Your Excellency, to resign my commission for today there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. With Your Excellency's assent, the three bills are now formally entered into the rolls of laws of the Republic of Kenya. By your signature, sir, they have acquired a full legal force and become a part of the country's body of laws. Your Excellency, as we draw this ceremony to a close, may I most graciously invite you to present a signed copy of the acts to His Excellency the Deputy President, who shares with you the heavy burden of steering the management of the nation as your principal assistant. If it pleases you, sir, you may also kindly present copies to the Solicitor General for publication into law and to the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury for implementation. As a symbolic reaffirmation of the interdependence between the legislature and the executive in the governance of public affairs, Your Excellency may graciously present ceremonial copies of the Act to the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Leader of the Majority Party in the National Assembly, the Leader of the Minority Party in the National Assembly, and other members of Parliament present, and all esteemed state officials in attendance. In conclusion, Your Excellency will unveil and display an open ceremonial copy of the Acts, while other state officials shall bear closed copies, signifying both the solemnity and unity of purpose that defines this important constitutional process. I thank you, Your Excellency. This brings the end of our ceremony today.